Hey everyone, it's Carrie and welcome to another little video. Today's video we're going to do something different. I usually do with like crochet with me videos or like vlogs over the week, but since it is January and January means that it's a new year, there are going to be tons of markets and I am focusing this year primarily actually on larger markets, I would say, opposed to doing farmers markets. My first one is in April as of right now, but I am taking advantage of like January, February, March, April, anytime I have to begin market prepping. Primarily because of the fact that I am actually planning on doing roughly almost a market a month once we get into spring, because the weather right now is just like, it's January, it's February, it's icky, like not really a fun time to do markets, especially also since it's just like right after Christmas and everything. So I thought it'd be fun to come on here and show you guys exactly some of these smaller items that I am planning on making and some of the small items that I actually took to my previous market that I did in November, which you can always watch the video. I will link that in the description, but that was my first ever big market opposed to a farmer's market. Some of these items I took there, so I do know they're gonna sell well. Some of them I haven't, but I wanted to share it with you guys so that way if you're like market prepping and want to actually find something, I would consider all of these ones that I have up here to be fairly easy. They aren't going to take you like 2 hours to make or anything crazy. I think roughly I would say most of these are 30 minutes, like the smaller ones, and the most complicated one would be about an hour and a half, maybe. I'm going to show you guys everything, maybe give you some ideas on things you want to market prep, and I also tell you what I price them at, or what I priced them at previously for the market in November, and what I probably will begin my pricing at for the new year and just see how things go. Some of these are pretty much your iconic crochet things. Some of them I actually didn't make until this couple months ago, which is always so funny considering that I was making really complex things and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna scale it back. I'm gonna make some small things. But I do think that even though these are like your standard typical, everyone crochets this, I do think it's important to bring them because most of them are small items. Just because you see all these crocheters making these items doesn't mean that everyone in the world has them. These items still sold pretty well for me, and the market that I did, there was like 4 other crocheters beside me, 3 or 4 I think. Even though we had similar items in terms of some of the things I'm going to show you, these still sold well. Granted, that just could be pricing, but let's go over the first one. So the first thing I would recommend for anyone just to have is the iconic little Leggy Frogs. So I do my Leggy Frogs in everything from Burnette Blanket to Sweet Snuggles Light. This one is in Sweet Snuggles Light. My other ones are in, I think this is their kind of light green. I can't remember what it is technically called. The other one is ice green, and then I have 2 different types of Burnette that I was trying to use up, and I'm actually considering going to Joann's and picking up the new Posh yarn, I think, which is supposed to be so similar to like, you know, a Chanel based yarn, and giving that a whirl because I think they have a green in that. I do my Leggy Frogs with safety eyes, and I also have Leggy Frogs that do not have safety eyes. I embroider them because I feel like these small things, sometimes people will gravitate towards them for like babies and stuff, so I like to have 2 options: safety eyes, no safety eyes. And I also change the smiles. I usually do a straight mouth or I just do a little smile, and all of them always have a little blush. And if you watched any of my other videos and I've mentioned my scrap yarn, I have a nice little box full of scrap yarn. This is one of the reasons why I like to keep the pink scrap yarn when I'm finishing a skein, because I will take that pink yarn and that is what I use to make the little blush on things like this. The first market I did, I sold my Leggy Frogs for $12. I want to say they're maybe a little bit over 6 inches. They're not anything too crazy with size-wise, but I sold them for $12. I almost sold all of them. I think I had 1 Leggy Frog left after the market, and I think I sold 10-ish Leggy Frogs. But I will say there were other people at this market that were selling Leggy Frogs for more, and I think they were roughly about the same size, but I generally do mine at 12, so they're easy for someone to pick up. The second one I have is this little whale right here. I had been searching really hard to find a no-sew whale pattern. The original whale pattern that I started out doing when I first started crocheting was not no-sew. You sewed the fins and the tail on. And I really just wanted to find something that didn't have that, primarily because of the fact that I I don't think whales, like certain things, like since this is just like literally a round thing, it's harder to sell for more money. So I just wanted to find something really easy, really quick, no sew, and that's exactly what this pattern is. The fins on the side here are bobble stitches, and then this is just chaining and doing your single crochets and stuff, whatnot. I really enjoy this pattern. It's super easy to make. I want to say it maybe takes me like 30 minutes to make. It's really easy. It's a great pattern for beginners. I make these in everything from light pink, blues, purples. They weren't the biggest hit at my previous market. I did sell out of a few colors, but I didn't sell out like some of the other things. I do believe part of that could simply just be because I didn't kind of have them in a good spot in the display, and there were so many other things at my table that I think were like far more interesting that the whales really just got like overlooked. But when I take these guys to markets, I take them and sell them for $12. I know people who will sell whales for more. I can't imagine spending some of the prices I see for the same pattern from other people, and especially since I didn't sell out on my previous market, I feel like $12 is good and comfortable. And like most things, the best thing you can do is if you're market prepping or you're doing markets, start out at one price, and then every time you go, you just play around with it a little bit. Like if something didn't sell, maybe you drop the price. If you had a really good seller, maybe you just like up it up $1. Like, you know, you just play around with things. That's the best thing you can do. But this is the little whale pattern. Moving on to the next pattern. I actually don't have the third thing done in this pattern. This is a bundle pattern, and this is by Harder Crochet, I believe, and you'll be able to find all of the patterns that I use in my description on my Google Doc if you're interested in making any of these. But I do not have the rooster done, but I have the two others done. So the third item I have is these little chicks. So I have the chick done and I have the mallard done. The pattern does include a rooster as well. I just haven't had time to make any of these. The November market was my first time ever having these, and they sold really, really well for me. I think I brought 4 of each, and I sold out of all of them fairly quickly. They are pretty easy to make. The mallard has more color changes, of course, and then the rooster, you do the little, I can't remember what you call it. It's not a beard, that's like a turkey thing, but it has, you know, whatever that chin thing is that you have to do. So that's a little bit different, but all in all, they work up pretty fast. They do take me more time than like a leggy frog or a whale or something, just because there are more stitches and everything. But I really enjoy this pattern. I really like this pattern. I have made it a goal this year to have 20 of each for each market that I do. So I've already halfway there, and I don't know, I just love them. I think they're really quick and easy to make. You can give them a lot of personality depending on how big you like their beaks to be. I'm impartial. I do prefer the beaks to be like wide like this, opposed to really small. I love this pattern. I would recommend it for anyone, and this is my replacement for Mabel the chicken, because everyone, if you watch my live streams, I think I've talked enough times about how much I hate Mabel the chicken pattern. Nothing against who made it, I just cannot stand it. So this is my replacement for that, and actually these sold way better than the Mabel the chicken pattern that I had. I think fairly, just because of the fact that like everyone and anyone has Mabel the chicken. These are a little bit more unique, and their differences make them so cute. So when I take these to markets, I usually sell them for $18. The next thing I have right here is I have the axolotls. The November market was my first time having these, and I will say I severely underestimated how popular these axolotls were gonna be. It was just kind of one of those things that I made it on a last minute whim, and oh my gosh, axolotls went crazy. I think I brought 2 of each color, and I sold out of like all of my axolotls within an hour. It was insane. I make them like a variety of colors, from like purples to pinks to all different types of blues, greens, just everything. I just kind of like pick a color and I'm like, oh, I think this combination would go really well. These guys are pretty easy to make. There are a ton of axolotl patterns. You can probably easily find axolotl patterns online for free. I'm pretty certain I can think of some YouTubers that have them. So by all means, if you want to look up and try and find them, that's totally fine. The person that I do know is Crochet Grove, and I did pay something for the pattern, but it was because mainly I really enjoyed the pattern, because there's some axolotl patterns that I just never really enjoyed. I would highly recommend to have some type of axolotl. They are extremely popular with kids, especially boys. I just couldn't keep them like on my shelf enough. So moving into markets this year, I'm bringing like 10 of each color. I typically charge $18 for these. I definitely think I could go up to 20 just given the popularity, but for the first market, I will probably do 18 and then go from there. Moving on to the next one, which is actually going to be something new, so I really cannot say if it's going to sell, is I have this little pig. This little pig is actually no-sew, which I was so happy about. I get asked a fair deal about pigs and whatnot, but I could never find a pig pattern that was what I would say like a good in-between size for someone just to like pick up and grab. And a lot of the ones I had done before had a lot of sewing and they were just bigger, so I had to charge more. So I found this. This is basically all no-sew. You know, you're just doing your stitches in the front loop here, your tail you're chaining, the legs are bobble stitches, all that good stuff. And they're a good size. Like with my little whales, they're roughly about the same size. I have not taken this to a market, so I don't know how it's gonna do. Given that I do live in the South and I've been asked multiple times about pigs, I have a feeling it will do well. I'm planning, I think right now, to sell it for like 15 maybe, or 12. I'm uncertain. I think I'm gonna have to do like what I did with some of these guys. It's just like that first market, put it out there, put it at a price and see how it does. Just because I really have no clue, and my first experience is literally going to be at my first market that I do this year, since I'm not doing any farmers markets really. This is the other small item I would recommend just having a few of. This is a paid pattern, but I do think it's worth it and it works up super quick. I think pretty much everything I've shown has been 30 minutes to an hour tops, depending on how you crochet. And I will come on here and give myself a little brag, a little small promo, I guess you say. My other small pattern, which is bigger than these guys for sure, but I still consider it small because for me, I either have small things like this or I get into like really big plushies, which are like $50 and up. I feel like if you've been watching my past couple videos, I've been talking about my cow pattern. So yes, I am focusing this year too on making a lot of cows. Mini cows. So this is the one I have right here, and so my goal for markets is also to be focusing on making a lot of these mini cows because they are already pretty popular from what I've seen with some of my previous customers and whatnot. I think actually this one is sold. They're a good size. I'll compare you guys. So this is the difference in like height per se of a leggy frog, but this is my own little promo shame. Like, I gotta brag on myself for a moment, but I'm planning on selling these guys with the flower counts for probably around 30, and then my standard ones that don't have anything special like color changes or flowers are gonna be probably roughly 25. Just gonna give it a whirl and see what happens, but that's my little promos type thing for other small patterns that I'm really focusing on for markets. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little video. I would highly recommend any of these things for your small market prepping. As well, I will include the links to everything in the comments. I will say a majority of the patterns I use are paid, but I'm certain if you looked online, you could probably find a creator who has made a free version of a majority of these patterns, except the one I made. And if you guys are interested in the cow pattern, the official release date will be the 15th, and I'm so excited. And I'll probably be running a special on it for like the first day or something, and I'll make certain to let everyone know on YouTube so you guys can get it if you would like and make it for your own markets. So if you guys like this video, just let me know, and I would love it if you would subscribe if you want to subscribe. More videos on the way, and of course always keep an eye out for live streams as well, because I do usually 2 a week, sometimes 3. Let me know also if there's anything in particular that you love to prep for your markets that's also small like this and easy to make. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of the day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!